Hi.
Hi everyone, we are here today for an extra lesson talking about reversals. We have, was it last week, the lesson on reversals?
Week before last.
The week before last, and there were some questions in the group, so we thought we'd address them first and foremost. I thought the best way to start this is to talk about whether we do or do not use reversals in our personal practice. And me personally, I read with reversals for about 10 to 15 years. And then I started reading in tableau style, which obviously we're teaching. And I found that the reversals were redundant when we are looking at placements within a tableau. So I stopped using reversals, and I haven't used reversals for a very long time. But that's just personal preference, as I find reading tableaus is not an essential, and you are not losing out by not having reversals in there. Quite the opposite, you get to know your cards better for their positives and for their negatives, their inherent meanings within those cards. So I don't feel like reversals add anything to my reads personally. Jane?
I don't really use reversals. Like, I think when I read the cards around, the tone in which or the language in which they actually speak, it'll articulate whether something's a negative or a positive anyway. So when reversals, for me, there's no need, because there's enough cards in that deck to give substantiation as to what you're saying without needing to incorporate an extra 78 meanings onto it.
Maria?
Basically, what the both of you said, I don't use reversals either. I used them when I started. I moved on to tableau reading, and just as you said, I don't just feel that they are redundant in the sense of not adding. I think that they make things more confusing than they should be, because sometimes the focus is put on the fact that the card's reversed, and it misses out on looking at what's around them, which usually is going to tell you if that card is well aspected or not anyway. So this was a pretty short-lived live 3 minutes. That's all.
So none of us actually use reversals. Doesn't mean that reversals can't be used. We all have used them in our practice, and we all probably learnt using reversals first and foremost as the way to read tarot. And so there are lots of different ways in which you can apply your reversals, and we'll talk about that a little bit alongside if we were to use them, or how we used to use them, how we applied them within our practice. So the standard way of reading reversals is by using a lack method. The card is lacking in some respect, maybe even entirely negative. So taking whatever value it has, reversing it, and removing that or intensifying the negative aspects of a negative card. So I've got the what decks you got, girls?
Oh, I've got Rider.
I've got the.
I want the Ehrenberg Tarot.
It's amazing. Jane bought it.
Is it too big?
No, it's not too big, is it? You can see Jane's tiny hands.
You can get
okay. You can shuffle it, Jane?
Yes. Well,
can you riffle shuffle it?
Can I riffle shuffle it?
It's a really nice card stock as well that has the ease of riffle.
Let me see. Hold on. You put me on pressure on a live now.
No, it's just because you were my hand tester. Okay, so you can? Good. Okay, so maybe I will have to get it. I just have a tiny rider here for my tiny hands.
So all of us pull one card out and explain its upright versus a standard reversal meaning.
Okay. Okay. So
Three
got
of
my
pentacles.
3 of Pentacles.
So upright.
So upright, I would go with collaboration, with people coming together to fulfill a purpose, the different layers that are required for something to come to fruition, or the different things that need to come together for something to work out. In that traditional reversal, it would be the lack of those things. It could be a disagreement when it comes to a collaboration, or a collaboration that is dissolved depending on what's around it, or problems to reach that common point that allow the person to build upon the the efforts that they were making. Hi mom, that's my mom.
Jane.
Sorry. So I actually got the Emperor. So the Emperor in his upright, to me, is an absolute wow. She's back, and leader. He is very much, directs the control. Is very much.
Oh God.
My God, what's happening?
They're chasing each other.
Very much in control. Leadership. Very much so. Empowered, owning his own personal power, authoritative, and actually really quite domineering at times, I could suggest. In its reversal, I would look at that as somebody that is an absolute tyrant. That is somebody that doesn't apply, the fairness. Like, if you think about the embodiment, what it means to actually truly be in a position of power, over your own power, being able to assert your own self, but actually having that autonomy and the understanding and perspectives of all around you. And, tyranny is and a lack of power, which would lead to over asserting of oneself. So I would say that this guy in his reverse is not someone that you want to be around. And upright, even though it can have some negative connotations, is, we all want to rule our own roost, isn't it? So
I'm deciding whether to put the dogs out or not. So I got the Page of Pentacles. Look at that card.
It's beautiful. I want it.
Amazing. They're all like that. They're all a part of the imagery. I think they're amazing. Anyway, Page of Pentacles speaks of being at the bottom of the career ladder, speaks of training, speaks of putting in the time and effort at that beginning stages, with it being the page. If it was upside down, then you would see either the lack of that, the lack of training, the lack of impetus putting into something new. Can also show that slowly approach of the Page of Pentacles isn't being applied as it should be. So the lack aspect is that general usual way of adding the reversals. The other ways of actually reading them, which I sometimes find quite useful, and I sometimes do throw them in, is if you are doing an advice spread for somebody. What should I do? So we're looking at what should I do versus what I shouldn't do. So we would apply the upright cards to that advice of what you should be doing versus the reverse side of the card showing what should not happen. So should we all pull one for an advice of what not to do?
Mm-hmm. Oh, are we waiting? You're waiting for me, okay? Yeah. So I got awkward moment. So I got the Ace of Pentacles. In a what to do advice kind of situation, I would say take this opportunity, go chase this goal. Something is being offered or an opportunity is opening up, and you should take it. Now, reverse that, I would say maybe this is a poisoned gift or a poisoned opportunity, something that's not as good as it seems. It is not something that you should pursue.
Jane?
I got the World. I'm all majors today, isn't it? In its upright, I would look at that as accomplishments and actually closing out of cycles, completions in its essence. And in its reversals, what not to do, don't leave things uncompleted because it's obviously reversed. It isn't getting finished.
True. I was too busy looking through the imagery of my cards.
She's staring at a pretty deck.
Honestly.
Got a pretty deck.
Haven't spent long enough with it because I've been working. So now I've actually got it in my hands. It's like...
I have very pretty new decks.
Oh, you can show it
later. Yes.
So I have the Queen of Wands. She's so pretty.
With the cat, I love it.
The Queen of Wands, obviously, we all embody the Queen of Wands at some time. We all have that spark within us of the Queen of Wands. If it's an advice on what not to do, don't be like the Queen of Wands. Don't express all those urges that you have. Your mom's asking a question.
Yeah. Finish.
So don't be fiery, tone it down a little bit. Don't own things as much as you would like to in that reverse position.
Yeah, so my mom is asking if we were doing readings. So I'm going to say, no, estamos haciendo ejemplos de cómo leeríamos las tiradas, o sea, las cartas en derecho o invertidas, pero es parte de una clase, no para hacer lecturas. I'm back to English.
Does she have something that she's wanting to know? I'll read for your mummy anytime you like, Maria.
Okay.
You'll have to interpret that.
I can be an interpreter. Jane dice que si tienes una pregunta se la hagas y ella te la responde y yo te lo traduzco.
But we'll do the lesson first.
Yes.
Right.
So the other way you can apply your reversals is by what is wrong. So using those upside down cards as a marker within your spread to navigate you to the areas that are an issue, lacking, etc. And also, obviously, the obvious is the absolute negative of that card. And if it is a negative card, then it becomes even more negative. What card was it that they struggled with? The Five of Swords?
Five of Swords. I would also say as well, if you were integrating reversals into readings and you were pulling cards asking, probabilities and questions, if you have a reversal showing up, that's an out and out no. If you're getting a reversal in that, I wouldn't take it as, looking at the other cards in that sense. It is a reversal. It's a goner for me.
So let's take a super negative card, the Tower, and we turn it into a reverse. It doesn't mean that chaos that the Tower brings with it isn't going to happen. In a negative position, in a reverse position, it will amplify that situation. It will make the chaos of the Tower even worse. So if we're talking about the Five of Swords and that battle that you are walking away from, maybe feeling that, it's either a status quo or maybe made it on top a little bit. If it is upside down, then it is negating that. It is making a much worse situation. Sorry, I was reading comments then. A much worse situation than it would be straight up. It's still a battle. You can't take the battle out of the Five of Swords. It's all, the fives themselves are all conflict cards. You can't take the conflict out of them. So when they are in a reverse position, it kind of amplifies that conflict. And if you think of them as cards of conflict, when they are upside down, it is disrupting. It is disrupting. It could even be coming out of nowhere with it being upside down, reversed. So you can't ever put lipstick onto those cards with those negative meanings just because they're upside down. It's not saying there is a lack of conflict, for example. It's saying conflict is making the situation lacking in a better way of explaining it.
No conflict resolution even, you know, because even with that Five of Swords, yes, there's conflict, but there is a resolution at the end of it. There's somebody that is going to be coming out on top, and some, you know, that conflict occurring. In it to reverse, it shows that there's no resolution to that, because both parties are. And reiterating what Tony was saying about the, you know, difficult cards. Everybody is a reader, everyone, you know, you don't want to give bad news to people, but people come for readings and their life is a literal shit show. They're going through things and you can't sugarcoat that. It's not fair on them. So the more comfortable you get with being able to manage difficult cards, the better a reader that you'll ultimately become from that.
So Blue Charlie asked what influenced my descriptions of the people and personalities. I take every single tarot card and I embody it, so I know what that card feels like to me, because we've all had those cards in us at one stage in our lives. You know, we know what the Two of Cups feels like. We know what the Ace of Cups through personal experience. So imagine yourself as the Queen of Wands, for example. Imagine how you would feel as that Queen of Wands. How would you act differently? And it's a very different aspect to if you're embodying the Queen of Swords. You become a very different person, but we all do that in a daily basis anyway, whether we're going to the doctor's office or to a job interview. We are embodying a different character within ourselves, and that's where I get my personalities from. I think we've all got those, every single one of them. We've got every single card in the tarot deck within our personality at times. So we should be able to recognize how it feels within us to be like that.
You got to think as well, that Queen of Wands, you know, she's very dynamic. She's magnetizing almost. She's very attractive and alluring, and really can be quite flirtatious, depending on what other cards is around. So it's somebody that's really, you know, attracts others to them. And that's just because of who she is, how she's being, how she displays herself. You would look at that as somebody that's very kind of, you know, looks after themselves, looks wise, you know, and has people actually drawn to them because of how their energy is, what they're exuding. Where that Queen of Cups is, you know, as a queen, is a total, you know, different ballgame. She's more in touch with her feelings rather than the physicality of what an appearance would look like. And the Queen of Swords will just tell you exactly how it is. You know, and you've got that Queen of Pentacles, which is kind of like that motherly, nurturing, you know, there you go, look after you kind of thing. And we all do display that, like Tony says, at different times in the day. Maria will be Queen of Pentacles towards the cats. She might be Queen of Swords, you know, at times towards other people. She might be actually Queen of Cups or Queen of Wands towards Pedro.
Or even the Kings.
You know, yes, we all give. All of that energy is all, you know, it's exuding from us at any given time, depending on what it is that's occurring around us.
I think it's also really detrimental to have just one card that represents yourself. Because if you stick that I did it for years when I first started reading. I was always the Queen of Swords, always, because I liked the Queen of Swords. But then as I've grown older, I realized that doesn't depict me a lot of the time, and there are some roles that I have to play, and maybe some days I want to be the Page of Wands, You know, I don't always want to be that one character. And I think sometimes when you pull a spread, you can easily think, oh, that's someone else. That's somebody else in the mix. Because you are so set on you being the Queen of Swords that when somebody else comes into the mix, you automatically think it is someone else. But if it's a queen or a king, it could possibly be you. So you have to be open to how you are presenting at that time within that situation as to whether it is you or somebody else.
That's a really good point.
I was looking for the Ten of Swords actually, because obviously that's going to be one of the most
Let me see.
difficult cards as far as a reversal.
I got it.
You've got it.
So the Ten of Swords, obviously that pain, there is no other way of putting it. The Ten of Swords hurts. When it's turned upside down, those swords do not become any less painful.
Think of them getting ripped out of the body. I mean, you can think about the pain of a sword getting stuck in someone's back, but think about them actually then as a hanging there, you know, gravity's giving a little bit of a tug. It's just extending that pain.
So when we speak of reversals, we don't actually speak of the lack in that there is no Ten of Swords in there. The Ten of Swords is still there.
Much.
It's just flipped into a more confusing position than what it was in the first place.
Yeah, it goes from ow to kill me now.
Yeah, like maybe push it farther in. And let's be done with it.
So is there anything anybody would like to add to that? If we've not answered the questions in group, I'm really sorry, because we do tend to get...
We get excitable when we're all together.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
So, do you have a question, Jane's mom? Maria's mom?
No, she said that she was just asking.
I see.
You know, because she doesn't know what it's about. So she wants to know what it is about because she sees everything I do, whether she understands it or not.
Wow.
So yeah, she's a very supportive mom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you teach her the cards?
Oh, I should. She's drawn a whole Lenormand deck that we are going to put together.
Yay.
Yay. I'll show you.
That's amazing. I love
because she can draw unlike me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
We'll sell it for you. We'll share it.
We'll sell it and we'll share it.
However, if you just said it was like a tarot deck, we'd consider it a tarot certification, we'd have had some guaranteed sales right away.
What? Can you repeat that, please? Slower.
If you had have been saying you were making a tarot deck, since this is tarot certification, you would have had some pre-orders more than likely.
True.
Yeah, we don't have a tarot deck though. Those are too many cards.
So show and tell, what pretty deck you got in front of you then?
Yeah, no tarot, but I've got 3 oracles. I've got this Carnival of Souls.
Who's that by?
Matt Hughes.
Wow.
From the Illuminated Tarot, and it's really cool because it comes with this book that is like a story. It is like related to the characters, but it is not like a instructions book. It's like a story, and you read it and you understand what it is about. Then it has like the booklet, and then look at the cards. Like, look, they're green. I love the colored borders.
I like that.
Nice Sandman. I like that.
Yeah, it's like a circus.
Jane.
We might need to get this deck.
I think we need this one.
Yes.
Ooh.
And they are like
Got a
shiny.
retro look to it as well.
Look.
Beautiful.
Yes. So I really like this one.
What's it called, Maria?
It's called Mother Mort's Carnival of Souls.
Modern Mods.
Mother Maud.
Mother Mauds. So I can't understand.
Just
really.
put
Carnival, this.
Carnival of Souls.
It's been so long since we've been on live together. I've forgotten what a Spanish accent.
And this one, well, I got this too. You know that one already.
Oh, yeah, we got that.
What did you think of this one? I like it.
Nah,
No, you didn't like it?
I didn't vibe it. Really.
I didn't really like the spreads, and I didn't think the messages in the book. I think if you used it without the guidebook.
I'm having a similar problem with the Mother Morts thing, because I think that the explanation that it gives is kind of short, but if you stick to that, just that is probably lacking, but if you take that as a prompt, I am really liking both decks.
Yeah, I absolutely love the artwork. I love the white cards. Those,
Yeah.
I think they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
But I think they're more like a prompt to elaborate on.
Say what?
I think they are more like a prompt to
Yes.
elaborate on than to go just by the meaning
Yeah.
of the cards. And then I got the Citadel that has like this super funny shape.
Oh, I like that.
I love it. And this one, what I like about this one is that it has elements.
Oh.
Have you tried this one, Maria?
The what?
Have you tried that?
No, I haven't.
It's actually, it's not too bad. Although the cards, to be fair, what I will say is, seeing as we're doing this now, it's really hard to shuffle. I can't shuffle them. They're so big.
You can't shuffle them, yeah.
Well, you can take all your deep oracles, and I'm sticking with my favorite.
Your ice cream oracle.
Ice cream oracle.
Been using the spirit animal one though.
It's the only one I really, really love.
Because we are deep people who meditate and levitate.
Yeah.
That's a good little oracle deck, That's all right. It's not bad.
Oh, I didn't know that one. I have plenty of oracle decks lately.
Wow, this turned into something different.
Yeah. When doesn't it?
So we'll say bye for this lesson, and we'll see you all next week at the usual time.
Bye.